Hello! So in the third part of our series, we are going to model the roof and take care of the overall composition of our scene. This means the lights, the camera position, and the environmental lighting. So we start with the previous state of our scene. Let's first hide everything that we already modeled, because in the first part we're going to focus on the roof. We are going to model the snowy type of roof, so let's start by adding a box, and let's make the color of the box to be white and position it next to the roof. So first thing we are going to do is we are going to try to make the shape for the roof. So we're going to collapse those parts of vertices, and here we can see a very nice looking triangular shape. So we are positioning the vertices. First part of the tutorial is going to be in the normal speed, then we are going to speed up a bit because we are going to model things that will later be discarded, because sometimes you model things that are not visible or look better when they are hidden, and that's what is going to happen in this tutorial. So yeah, we are adding the edge loop to this part of the roof, and we are going to model it slightly to kind of give us this possibility to create a nicely looking shape. So another edge loop added. So we are trying to make the shape of our bounding box below, and choosing the edges, adding more edge loops, and just giving the shape of the snowy type of the roof, just moving vertices around. Again, trying to form something that looks nice. And more edge loops. Now this one we are going to use to kind of form this type of snowy volume. And let's look at how it looks like with the overall shape. Yeah, here we can see a few problems that we'll try to solve now. So we're just moving the vertices to better cover the shape of our roof. And let's look at it always from all the angles, because there might be problems in the other angles. Never try to look at it just from one angle. This is overall important part. So we added a bunch of the planks here. I skipped it to make it faster. And we are going to position them just below the snow. Actually, later on we are going to see that those planks will get removed. That's why I'm not very much focusing on looking at how to do them. We already did similar things at the foundation of our hat, like a group of planks. That's why I'm not trying to redo them again. But those planks that are building this extra roof here, this extra module of the roof, are going to be important because they are going to be visible. And again, we don't want those planks to be too similar to each other. The more the edges can be different and can be not so plain, the better. So now we're trying to position the second part of this small roof. And as we can see, we have to scale slightly the planks because they are getting out in the other part of the roof. And here we have them. So now it's time to, I think it's time to build the back side of our hat, because it's not looking good while it's so empty there. So what we are going to do is just copy one of the logs from the forward and clone them and position them in the back side of the hat. And now we are just duplicating them and positioning to look good. It's very tedious process. We are doing like log by log. That's why I'm speeding up the whole video right now. Of course, I'm not so fast to model that quickly. And yeah, here we have just the shape of the back of the hut. So another thing that we're going to build right now is the front face of this small roof module, because we want planks there as well. They would not be covered by the snow, of course, so we need to show them to the viewer. So I'm just duplicating and moving the vertices. I collapse the top ones so that they can be more like a triangular shape. And now I'm just adjusting the vertices. They don't need to be perfect, because it's not like a game type of artwork. It's more for the final piece that is going to be a JPEG image. So we don't need to be perfectly accurate here. So as we can see, I now enabled the snow, and I'm again trying to form the shape to look better. And as we'll be able to see right now, the roof looks better if the big planks are invisible. So that's why I covered them. We could remove them, but I left this part. So next step in our modeling adventure here in the scene would be to add some small parts of snow here and there. I think the first place where we will want to add it is on the railing of this those stairs here. So I'm zooming in there first, adding a new box, and I'm going to position it. It's going to be a very organic type of the model. I changed the color to white because, of course, it's better to look at it, how it will look like. And I'm positioning it just where the railing is joining with the end of the railing. So I'm going to the vertex mode, and I'm just going to deform the model to form this different type of shape. And I'm really not, I don't know how it will look like in the end. I'm just going to play up with vertices to achieve something that looks good. Of course, the bottom part needs to be bigger in volume, and the higher part needs to be less in volume, because if this was a real snow part, this is how the snow would kind of place itself on this railing. So it's not looking maybe too beautiful yet, but I'm just playing up with the vertices. I slowed down the video for us to just go through the process, and this kind of looks good from the far away. It doesn't need to be perfect again. Maybe I'm going to slightly modify it. I decided to just stay with that, and I'm just copying that, and I'm going to place some small parts of the snow here and there, here on the bottom stair. I'm just going to collapse this. It's going to look very, very, very well here. It doesn't need to be perfect again. It's going to be far away, and I'm duplicating it again, moving on to the other stair and rotating slightly and placing it. Yeah, it looks like small snow parts. That should do it. Now what I'm going to add is the snow at the top of the doors. But first, I noticed that there are two huge holes between the locks, so I just scaled them slightly in the y-axis. Sometimes, yeah, when you look at different places of the model during the modeling, you can notice that some things may be adjusted to look better. It's not so well-defined and ordered process that I'm following here. It's more like this artistic chaos that's happening, I have to say. But yeah, that should be okay. So yeah, again, I'm just trying to create a small pile of snow at the top of the doors that we have. So I'm again just playing up with vertices and trying to form something that is organic and that could look like a pile of snow that just stayed there because no one was entering the home for some time. It's like this alone type of home. It's the winter right now, so people are not so much entering to those huts. And yeah, so yeah, it looks good to me right now. So Now it's time to work on the final composition of the scene. Let's first change the color of the directional light that is striking on the scene. I'm just rotating it, and I just enabled the shadow, and I'm changing the intensity of it, intensity of the light, and it also affects the color of the shadow. And I'm changing the ambient color of the scene. The lower values will mean the shadow will be more visible. Yeah, and I'm just trying to find the best angle for the directional light. This looks kind of good. Oh, we always want the light to strike our model like from the side. So one side is in the shadow and one side is in the light, because this gives you a contrast and this gives you a focal point for your scene. I'm now changing some logs because they were creating those holes too much. And I'm changing the terrain. I selected everything and subdivided it, and I'm just going to move slightly some vertices around. And this is going to form a very nicely looking terrain for us. And I changed the perspective mode to isometric. When you tap on the text just below the top right uh, scene gizmo, you can change to isometric mode, and it gives you this very nicely looking type of perspective for our scene. Yeah, I'm just trying to descale some of the logs because in this perspective, this looks like a flat surface. I enabled the ambient occlusion, and it's kind of starting to form this very nicely and professionally looking scene. I'm changing also the bloom settings. Yeah, and changing the ambient occlusion. This version you need to go back and re-enable it to see the effect. And that is the final part.